Hello, and welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in the birthday celebration hop. And today's hop is to celebrate the birthdays of Neha from Crescent Creations and Debbie from Debbie J's Crafting Corner. And these are all the different companies that have donated prizes for the YouTube hop. So to enter to win one of these prizes, just leave a comment on the videos in the hop. The more videos that you watch and comment on, the more chances you have to win. So everyone was challenged to make some birthday cards, and we were kind of given free rein to interpret that how he wants. I'm sure you'll get a variety of birthday cards to make, and I think that's great because birthday cards are one of the cards I send out the most. So I'm making a pretty easy one, and this one will actually make 2 cards. So I started with some Bristol smooth paper that I cut out with Lawn Fawn scalloped hearts, and I'm going around the edge with my Kitsch Flamingo, which I just recently purchased. I cut out a panel of Bristol smooth cardstock with my Lawn Fawn rectangle stitch die, and this is an I2 size, and I'm just using my purple tape to tape down my stencil, and I'm going along the sides because I don't want to put any ink past the stitch marks. And I lined up the top so that I didn't need to do that. Then I'm going to use my same blending tool, or you can use a blending brush if you have that, and put on my Kitsch Flamingo on this one. I'm also going to use this panel that I created by putting salvage patina on this embossing folder that has kind of coffee cups, or it could be tea because that's what I get when I go to Starbucks and places like that. So I'm using my paper trimmer to cut my 2 panels, and I'm just cutting it on the 3-inch line so that they're not quite half. I wanted one a little smaller, a little larger. It doesn't really matter what size, just cut them both the same. And if you wanted to make just 1 card, you could have done just 1 panel, but this way you make 2 cards at the same time, and you get more variety of color and texture on your card. Then I'm just gluing one of the turquoise and one of the pink panels to each card. And I'm just using art glitter glue. I don't really like it that much because it's kind of runny, but I like to use it on these larger pieces of paper, but I don't like it on my small items. So I'm not going to list that in my recommended products below, but that's what I'm using in this video. I do like the Nouveau Deluxe glue better. Then I just use my glue to glue on the heart. And I like that I use the larger heart because then I put it so that it covers up the line where the 2 papers meet. If you weren't putting on a heart like this, you could also use something like washi tape to cover that up. Now this is a simpler card design, and it's not taking a long time to make. And also you're getting 2 cards at the same time. And I think it's good to have some cards that don't take so long, because usually I'll do scene or interactive cards that take a long time. Well, oftentimes Debbie J and Neha both like to use cute animals, and in fact, Crescent Creations has a lot of cute animal stamps. So I'm using a cute animal stamp, and this is going to be a tea card. So I don't know if the stamp's in production anymore. You might find an old one, but this is from Your Next Stamp, and it's a parrot and tea set, and this is a cockatoo that I'm going to stamp on. So I just cut out some Copic friendly paper with the Lawn Fawn inside out heart dies, and what I like about those is they fit perfectly into the scalloped hearts. And then I'll use my Copic markers to color the images. Then I'm stamping my sentiment on with some turquoise ink from Stampin' Up, which is called Taken with Teal. I don't know if they still make that or not, but you can use whatever colors go with your pictures. And if you don't have these stamps, you could easily use any type of coffee or tea stamps that you do have. And you can mix or match depending on who you're giving it to. So obviously if you're going to give it to someone who likes coffee, then I would do a coffee theme, and if you're doing tea, I would do a tea stamp. I like using older sets because I think you need to get as much use out of your stamps as possible. And I'm stamping the sentiment You Are, and then the other one I chose is Tea-rific. So this could also be another type of card, but I'm going to add a happy birthday sentiment to it. Next, I'm using Lawn Fawn's Wavy Sayings stamps and dies to make a banner that says Happy Birthday. So I'm going over that with my embossing buddy to put on powder. And then I will stamp it Happy Birthday with my Versamark ink. And then I'm using Aqua Tinsel embossing powder from Ranger. And that goes really well with the Distress ink, which is the Salvage Patina. And I think this pink and blue combination, or kind of aqua combination, is now my favorite. So you'll probably be seeing lots of cards with these colors. Then I'm coloring in my images with Copic markers. I generally start with my darker color and then move to the lighter color. So I'll shade in where I think it's going to be darker, and then I go over with the light color. And I've put the caps at the top, or at least most of the time I put the cap at the top so you can see what color I'm using, and I'll also list those in the description below. Some people start with the lighter color and then go backwards, so it just depends what works for you. Now when I do the cup, I do the darker color as much as possible towards the bottom, but also on the side to give it more of a rounded look. I started using BG10, but I decided that was too light and I wasn't getting a dark enough color around the image. So then I switched from BG10 to BG32, which is obviously a different number, but it still kind of goes with the colors. It just looks a little bit darker. And then I kind of go around the sides again with my darker color because I kind of lost the darkness around the side, so I'd lost my shading. Now this stamp set is called Lovebirds, and some of them do look like lovebirds. This one actually looks like a cockatoo, so I decided to color it as a rose-breasted cockatoo. And so I'm using W colors, or you could use cool gray, whatever you have, on the wings and the tail feathers because that's where they're gray. And then I'm using my RV20 colors for his chest. Now, at one point, I started coloring with an RV30 something, and that didn't look right, and I realized I had an RV30 something, so then I switched. So I had to go over that quite a bit. And then when I did my second parrot, then of course I just used the colors I meant to. When I saw the stamp set, I had to get it because I really love tea and I love parrots. So a funny story is years ago, I worked at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and I worked where the veterinarians were and where we had a nursery, and we had a lot of birds there. And one of the birds we had was a rose-crested cockatoo, and I had never seen them before, but I thought they were just gorgeous. Well, then I found out that in Australia, these birds are quite numerous and really thought of as pest birds, and kind of like they're like we do in the United States of pigeons. So it just teaches you everything has to do with perspective. Then I just used my glue to glue my images that I colored inside my heart. And that just shows you how perfectly these inside heart dies fit really well into the scalloped heart. And I just like how that shows up. Then I just use my glue to glue on the sentiment to the bottom of my heart. And then I'm using a pink enamel accents to add some dots around my sentiment. I just put those in the corner. I don't know that they make this anymore. It's from Ranger. I've only seen the white and black on some of the online stores that I shop at. If they don't, you can use Nuvo drops or anything else that you have that's pink. Then I'm using some aqua jewels, and I'll use my jewel picker, and I like to use my glossy accents to glue these on because it really holds really well. I did get a little bit too much of the glossy accents off at the beginning here, so it did kind of dry matte on there, which wasn't the best. And my jewel picker is not as sticky. I did clean it off, but I noticed that the metal's starting to come through, so I'm not sure that cleaning's going to really do a whole lot of good. So I might need a new type of jewel picker in the future. If you have any suggestions, just let me know what your favorite jewel picker is. This one I think is the one from RV. You may have noticed I have some circles cut into my craft mat, And that happened on my last YouTube video when I was scrapbooking. I forgot to put my cutting mat under my cutting blade, and so I cut the circles there. So now I need a new mat also, but I saw that Hobby Lobby has Tim Holtz products on sale, so I'm planning on going someday after work and getting me a new glass mat. I thought it needed some extra embellishments, so I'm adding some glossy accents to his beak and then also to the teacup because I figured those would usually be shiny. I want to thank you so much for watching my site. I'll have a list of all the other hot participants below. Please hop on to the next person. And if you like the video, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd also appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you.